Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Aquí estamos otra vez con Profesor Pablo. We like to say buenos días, good morning, buenas tardes, good afternoon, y buenas noches, and good evening. No importa la hora que sea. It doesn't make any difference what time it is. Siempre es un gran momento. It's always a great time para aprender español. Our lesson today, la lección de hoy es absolute superlative. There are certain adjectives in Spanish that you can do what we're going to do with. Not all adjectives work well with this, but these certainly do. These adjectives we've studied, we've gone over. Most of them, if it's a permanent characteristic, something you go to bed with and wake up with, in describing a person or a place, it's going to use the verb ser. Es, son, era, or eran. Es and son, it is, they are. Era, he was or she was, or it was. Eran, they were. And of course, es is also he is or she is, as well as it is. So the adjectives here that are permanent characteristics, they're going to take the verb ser. There are some here that are going to take the verb estar. Remember estar, estoy, estás, está, estamos, están. We know the verb estar very well. We'll point those out to you momentarily. When you say tall, like LeBron James, es alto, if you want to go to the absolute highest description of the adjective, we call it the absolute superlative, you would say es, take the O off, and put on isimo. Es altísimo. He's exceedingly tall. We really don't even have a word for it in English. We say he's crazy tall. He's really, really tall. Es altísimo. Our adjectives. Alto, tall. Guapo, cute or handsome. Bonito, pretty. Rápido, fast. Caro, expensive. Barato, cheap. Peligroso, dangerous. Feo, ugly, and that's an ugly word. Rico, rich. Simpático, nice. Divertido, fun. Enojado, mad. Cansado, tired. Over here, complicado, complicated. Aburrido, bored. Importante, important. Grande, big. Inteligente, smart or intelligent. Interesante, interesting. Now, which ones of these do you think could go with the verb estar? We know estar can be used with temporary conditions like emotions and feelings, right? So let's see which ones. Cansado, you're tired. Well, that's a temporary thing. That's going to be the verb estar. Enojado, that's an emotion. That's going to be the verb estar. Divertido and simpático, feo, rico, and peligroso, those are all characteristics. They're going to be the verb ser. How about interesante, inteligente, grande, and importante? Those aren't temporary conditions. Those are characteristics of a person or a situation or something. So they're going to go with the verb ser. How about aburrido and complicado? If you're bored, yeah, that's a temporary condition. That would go with estar. How about complicado? Complicated? Yeah, it's not always going to be complicated. Yeah, está complicado. It's complicated. You could say, though, es complicado. Es muy complicado, meaning a subject or something like that. But how it is to you right now, está complicado. Está muy complicado ahora. So if it's fluctuating between easy, difficult, complicated, ahora está complicado. Before it was easy. Antes estaba muy fácil. But characteristically, es complicado para la gran parte de las personas. When you say está complicado, you're reacting to how you're experiencing it. Come back here. Caro and barato. These can fluctuate, and they can be a characteristic, so they can go both ways. If I want to say it's expensive, like gold is expensive, el oro es caro. It's expensive. But let's say the price of gold dropped drastically, 50%. I could say, wow, it's cheap now. Ahora está barato. That means that there's been a fluctuation in the price. But characteristically, if something is cheap, like el agua es barata, water is cheap. Water is inexpensive, ¿verdad? El oro es caro. Gold is expensive. So let's see if we got this. Characteristically, if something is expensive, you say es caro. Es muy caro. It's very expensive. It's very expensive to live at the beach. Es muy caro vivir en la playa. That's a legitimate sentence. Es muy barato? Nada es muy barato. Nothing is very cheap anymore. No hay nada que sea barato. There's nothing that's cheap. Okay? Es barato. Only thing that comes to mind, like paper. El papel es barato. Una pluma es barata. But characteristically, barato is cheap. Caro is expensive. But again, let's talk about gasoline. La gasolina. La gasolina es cara. By definition, gasoline is expensive. It's a fuel, and it's not cheap. It's expensive. Characteristically, es cara. However, let's say that gas that's at $5.50 a gallon now, let's say it goes back down to $3 someday in the future. Then you'd say, wow, la gasolina está barata. Está barata. You're reacting to the fluctuation, to the change. Está barata. Let's say something was $2 for the purchase, and now it's up to $4. You say, woo, está muy cara. Está muy cara. So during the pandemic, right, everything changed. It went from barata to cara. Barato to caro. Almost everything went up dramatically after the pandemic. So with a fluctuation, you're going to use a star. Okay, let's practice. She is really cute. Es guapísima. They are really cute. You're talking about two girls. Son guapísimas. Let's go with bonito. Reminisce back when you were in school and you want to say, oh, Sally, she was gorgeous, really, really pretty. Sally era bonitísima, era bonitísima. Let's go with rápido. Okay, Carlos was the fastest runner at school. Carlos was exceedingly fast. We're going to go Carlos era, rápido, drop the O, and add ísimo since he's a guy. Carlos era rapidísimo. Carlos and Francisco were really fast. Carlos y Francisco eran rapidísimos, rapidísimos. Caro and barato, we already went over those. Let's try cansado with the verb estar. Dad's really tired. Papá está cansadísimo. Papá está cansado. Dad is tired. Está muy cansado. He's very tired. But if you want to say like he's exceedingly tired, there's no word in English for it. He's crazy tired. Está cansadísimo. When you hear that ísimo, it's the top, highest level of whatever that adjective may be. Enojada, like we said before. Mom is spitting nails. I mean, she is ticked. Mamá está enojadísima. Mamá está enojadísima. Cuidado. Now, está, when you take it into the past, it's estaba. Dad was really tired. Estaba cansadísimo. Mom was really mad, spitting nails mad. Mamá estaba enojadísima. Divertido. It used to be a lot of fun. It was a blast. Era divertido. Take the O off and add ísimo. Era divertidísimo. Era divertidísimo. Kind of hard to say. Just pronounce it a few times. Say it. Divertidísimo. 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 Simpático. Oh, my 5th grade teacher. She was so nice. So nice. Era simpaticísima. It's with a Q-U-I. Quísima. Let's go. Oh, we're not going to go feo. Let's go rico. Era riquísimo. El señor era riquísimo. The man was exceedingly rich. Peligroso. The road. They removed the road, but it was exceedingly dangerous. Road is a camino. Era peligrosísimo. Era peligrosísimo. The streets were really, really dangerous. Las calles eran peligrosísimas. Las calles eran peligrosísimas. They were really dangerous. Interesante, it's really super interesting. Es interesantísimo. It was really super interesting. Era interesantísimo. Let's go inteligente. She is super smart. Es inteligentísima. She was super smart. Era inteligentísima. Grande. They were huge. Eran grandísimos. And we'll drop down. Aburrido. The girl was bored out of her mind. La muchacha estaba aburridísima. She is really bored. Está aburridísima. And complicado. Very common in the year 2024 to hear people say, when they're asked a difficult question, it's complicated. ¿Verdad? It's complicated. Well, está muy complicado. Está muy complicado. Generally speaking, when things are complicated, they have a tendency to uncomplicate themselves, if that's a word. So that's why we can use estar with this, because it's a fluctuation. Hoy está muy complicado. Ayer no estaba complicado. Hoy está muy complicado. It's very complicated. But let's say there's something in life that's very complicated, a particular science or study, and you want to say characteristically, it's really complicated. Es muy complicado. Es muy complicado. Okay? But when you say está complicado, you're reacting to it as it hits you at that moment. Está muy complicado. Okay? So there you go. Absolute superlative, the ones that are characteristics of a person, place, or a thing, are going to take the verb ser. The ones that are an emotion, a feeling, right? A temporary condition, a fluctuation, are going to be with the verb estar, like being tired and being mad and prices fluctuating and something complicated at the moment or something boring at the moment. Those can go with estar, the others with the verb ser. Okay? In our adjectives, anything new here? Rápido has an accent. Why? Remember, any word that's stressed 3 vowels back breaks both rules of pronunciation. And an accent mark is like a ticket. It goes over the violator vowel. If we didn't have an accent mark on it, the accent mark, why is it there? It's telling you when you pronounce the word to stress the A. Rápido, rápido. If it weren't there, it would be pronounced rapido, rapido. But it's rápido. So the accent mark is telling you, hey, forget about the 2 rules. This is an exception. Put the stress under the accent, right? So that's why we have accent marks. That's really cool. Right here, same thing. Simpático. Look, it's the 3rd vowel back. According to the rules, no 3rd vowel back should ever have an accent mark, or should be stressed. But this is stressed, and so it breaks the rule. It gets the accent mark for breaking the rule. And at the same time, the accent mark is telling us to stress that vowel when we pronounce it. Simpático. Any others here? No, ya está. Ok, gracias por todo. Hasta la próxima lección. Colorín colorado, este cuento se ha acabado. Gracias, tengan un gran día. Hasta luego.